Say it for always. That's the way it should be. Say you, say me. Say it together naturally. I had a dream, I had an awesome dream. People in the park playing games in the dark. And what they played was a masquerade. From behind the walls of doubt, a voice was crying out,
help me.
say you, say me, say for always. That's the way it should be. Say you, say me, say it together naturally. As we go down life's lonesome highway, seems the hardest thing to do is to find a friend or two. That helping hand, someone who understands. When you feel you lost your way, you got someone there to say, I'll show you. Say you, say me, say it for always. Oh, that's the way it should be. Say you, say me, say it together naturally. So you think you know the answer? Oh no. Well, the whole world's got you dancing. That's right, I'm telling you. Time to start believing. Oh yes, believe in who you are. You are a shining star. Say you, say me, say it for always. Oh, that's the way it should be. Say you, say me, say it together naturally. Say it together naturally.
Det är så praktiskt med sådana här program som Tuttifrutti, förstår ni. Därför att ingenting behöver man göra själv. Inte ens praten efter videoserna. För de levereras i videokartongerna så här när man köper videos. Nu ska vi se vad det står här. Den här lappen som man ska säga efter den här videon. Då står det så här: oj, 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 vilken rivig video med Lionel Richie. Såg ni att den gudomligt sensuella tjejen på slutet var Ingrid Bergmans dotter Isabella Rossellini? Det gjorde ju inte kalasmus-videon sämre direkt. Nej. Och sen står det så här: yeah! Och biofilmen med dessa bägge får ni bara inte missa, eller hur? Och sen tar man upp nästa lilla lapp då för nästa video. Och så säger man så här då: wow, spänn fast säkerhetsbältena för här kommer Lloyd Cole med Perfect Skin. Så sätter man på den videon då. Jätteenkelt.
Och vabbabelobba.
Ja, men det var inte den här vi skulle titta på. Hallå? Det var Lloyd Cole.
Och vabbabelobba.
Det är väl den där Johan Hagelbäck som var framme nu igen. Johan Hagelbäck, vet du vad jag tänker göra med dina filmer? Va? Vet du det? Jag tänker bränna upp dem. Så att du aldrig mer kan få med dem i det här programmet.
She rocked to the west, she rocked to the west.
Så, jaha, vad varmt och skönt det blev här nu.
I love this.
Johan Hagelbäck, du kan komma hit och hämta upp askan som blir över här av dina filmer. Ja, så kanske vi äntligen kan titta på Lloyd Cole med perfekt skin.
They're all down in the cell with their golden grants. And my IQ, they brought me down to size academia blues. Louise is a girl, I know her well, she's up on the pavement. Yeah, she's a weather girl, and I'm staying up here, so I may be undone. She's inappropriate, but then she's much more fun. And when she smiles my way, my eyes go out in vain. She's got perfect skin. Shame on you, got no sense of grace. Shame on me, just in case I might come to a conclusion. Other than that, which is absolutely necessary, and that's perfect skin. Louise is the girl with the perfect skin. She says turn on the light, otherwise it can't be seen. She's got cheekbones like geometry and eyes like sin, and she's sexually enlightened by cosmopolitan eyes. When she smiles my way, my eyes go out in vain. For her perfect skin, yeah, that is perfect skin. Slides of a family life, pretty weird at times. At the age of 10, she looked like Greta Garbo, and I loved her then. And how was she to know that? When she smiles my way, my eyes go out in vain. She's got perfect skin. Up 8 flights of stairs to a basement flat, pretty confused, huh? Being shipped around like that seems to climb so high. Now we're down so low, strikes me the moral of the song must be there never has been one.
Ja, nu har vi alltså både fått med Ingrid Bergmans dotter och sen såg vi också Greta Garbo flankera här på kulisserna i slutet av den här. Och sen så kanske vi också... Vem är du? Vad vill du?
Bernie, Dee Snider, Bernie.
Dee Snider från Twisted Sister, nu förstår jag.
Enough of
Nice to
this
see you.
garbage.
What?
Why haven't you played our new video clip? What I need to know is why haven't you played our new video clip?
I haven't seen it. I haven't seen it,
You haven't seen it? Don't give me that kind of garbage! What kind of man leaves Twisted Sisters video off of their Tuttifrutti TV show?
Yeah, but I haven't seen it.
I got a good mind to slap your skinny face. You
I
are
haven't seen
destroying your life with this garbage! Well, I'm gonna take care of this
I won't
problem.
show it. I
Shut
won't
up.
do it.
I'll take care of this problem right
I won't show
now.
it.
Right.
I won't show it. Don't show it. Don't show... Vad gör han? Stoppa honom! What was the big whore in the beginning of the video?
Whore? Whore?
Yes, the big whore.
You calling me a whore?
No.
I look like some kind of slut to you?
No. I mean the big whore. You know, in the beginning of the video.
Oh,
the whore.
they're speaking that Swedish again? H. Whore?
Aha, yeah, that's
H.
right.
We
yeah.
say H. H.
Aha.
H is our rating on our video. It's for humor. And the reason we put that there is because in the United States, some people are trying to rate rock and roll videos for violence and sex and drugs, and we wanted to make sure people knew what we were trying to put across. So by putting the H, I think it lets people know that our videos are fun and enjoyable. You're supposed to laugh and have a good time. Did you have a good time?
Yes, please, yeah.
I said, did you have a good time?
No, please. I mean, yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
Ja. Ja, nu tror jag att vi ska visa kanske lite New Order för Dee så att han får tillbaka lite.
Wait a minute, did you just say New Order?
No.
That synthesizer?
No, it's not, no.
I mean, if it's New Order, I hate that. That's it. I've had enough of that garbage. Look, if I want to be put to sleep, I'll take sleeping pills, okay? I don't need
But you can't do like this, you know?
Hey,
are you crazy or
as a matter of fact, while I'm at it, I think we've had
what?
enough of you as well. I mean, really, I've had enough of this crap. Jesus. I don't know. I'm leaving.
Hot mama, she won't
her laughter. She wanted diamonds. She was unfaithful, treated me cruelly. Where is the mercy? Where is the love? You see, passion has a funny way of burning down and running low. Suddenly it goes out, and you wonder, where does it go? She's a hard woman to please. I thought about letting her know. She's a hard woman to leave. I thought about letting her go. She's a tough cookie, hard lady. I've got to say goodbye. I gave her laughter. She wanted diamonds. I was romantic. She treated me cruelly. Where is the mercy? The fire of love is burning down. I hardly feel the glow. Don't give it a chance to turn bitter. I'll deal it the final blow. She's a hard woman to please, and I thought about letting her know. She's a hard woman to leave. I thought about letting her go. She's a tough cookie, rough lady. I've got to say goodbye. How can I say goodbye to my baby? So long, honey. She's a hot woman to please. Yeah, she is. Oh, yeah, she is. I'm gonna say goodbye to my baby. So long, honey. I'm gonna say goodbye to my little girl. I'm gonna say goodbye to my baby. She sure knows how to make me cry. When I say goodbye, she sure knows how to make me cry, 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 cry. When I say goodbye to my baby, to my little girl. When I say goodbye, so long, so long, so long, honey. When I say goodbye to my baby.
Har han gått nu eller är han kvar?
Ja, han har stuckit.
Det var ju synd. Annars hade han fått med mig att göra. Hade han fått en smäll så där. Om jag bara hade vetat att han skulle komma. Om jag bara hade vetat att han skulle komma, då... Ja, men vad nu? Jag har ju bränt upp den här filmen. Va?
Ja, jag trodde du va, men jag har många kopior.
Va?
Ja, mig blir du inte av med, ska du veta.
Ja, får vi köra den.
Tuttifrutti, 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 tuttifrutti. She rocked to the east, she rocked to the east, she rocked to the west, she rocked to the west. But she is that girl that I love best. But she is the girl that I love best. Tuttifrutti, 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 tuttifrutti.
För att citera Bob Geldof så är ju rock så mycket, mycket mer än bara wabbabeluba. Och nu ska vi titta på en dokumentär som också bevisar det här påståendet.
Next Saturday, the world will sing for the famine victims of Africa. From London, from Philadelphia and from Sydney, the largest pop concert in history will be transmitted to more than 1 billion people.
The romantic idea of the thing for me is that there is a family in, say, Novosibirsk in East Siberia, and there's a family in Boise, Idaho, experiencing the same thing at precisely the same time and enjoying themselves in the same way and probably feeling the same emotion. And there'll be a band on here, and on back there there'll be a band coming off stage, and on here there'll be a band setting up to come on stage, and the same will be happening in Philadelphia. They'll be doing the songs that made the whole world sing. We hope that the captain on the shuttle will introduce the acts as he zips over. That's the fun and games, you know. The thing to remember is that we'll be asking everybody in every country to give money. And the money will go to stop people dying. What prompted my outrage was one particular image which, more than anything I've seen subsequently, even in Africa, still remains fixed. And it was an image of this young woman, and she's looking at a field of, I would imagine, 10,000 people in tatters, and she has enough food to feed 300 of them. And she has to pick completely at random 300 people from 10,000 who will live. Well, nobody should ever have to play God in that way. It was Sting who put it into words when he said, it isn't enough to give money. So what I do is I write songs and sing them. So I go, well, obviously if the Rats do a song, it's not going to be a massive great hit. But if we get the biggest people current in Britain, then we're going to have probably a hit single.
It's Christmas time. There's no need to be afraid.
We all knew what it was about. You know, none of us are naive. We all know what's going on. We're not sort of drug-addicted morons. You know, we're all aware of what's going on in the world, and we did our little bit.
And it's a world of dread and fear.
Some of my favourite pop music is completely and utterly meaningless and stupid. So it's not absolutely necessary to say anything in pop. However, it's also a pretty good medium for ideas.
I don't ever want to use the stage as a soapbox. I never want to point the finger at anyone other than myself. And I'm as guilty as anybody else.
And there won't be snow in Africa this Christmas time.
I turn on the television and I'm sitting there paralyzed by it all because it's just another image flickering through. And so you become numb. And my music is, for me, a way for me to come alive again.
There's always that danger of you just preaching to the converted, I suppose. I mean, people are obviously attracted to us. A lot of people are probably attracted to us because they agree with our views in the first place, you know. So I think it's got, you have to be kind of wary of that. But I think it's important that pop music speaks out and speaks for people.
Pop music is going through a great period now of pop music. So therefore, when you are protesting in a song, sometimes it's not enough to say wop, bop, lop, bop, lop, bam, boom anymore. You know, we're 30 years on, you must be able to articulate that a bit better. Well, it became this phenomena whereby it was a worldwide hit, it was the biggest record ever, and it was all done on trust.
Millions of pounds have been raised, and hundreds of thousands of people are alive today that would otherwise have starved to death if Band Aid had never existed. What greater commendation can you get than that? And the emulations of Band Aid, the American cover version, the tennis players for Africa, hopefully the golf players for Africa, the cricketers for Africa, These emulations would never have happened if it had not been for the Band Aid initiative.
Suddenly, here I was with this thing, and I had to find out how to get the money out there sharpish, or else we'd lose all public confidence. And we couldn't have another Bangladesh. Bangladesh was a concert that George Harrison arranged in 1971 for the victims of the disaster there. For whatever reasons, it seemed to me that it took years for a good portion of the money to actually get to the people who were supposed to benefit from it. George Harrison rang me up and he was a bit offended. He just said, like, you know, I heard you comparing it with that you didn't want it to be like the Bangladesh thing. And I said, no, I don't. Especially I don't want the image of it, that these people did this wonderful thing for a terrible disaster. And because of bureaucratic and legal and government corruption in the host country, relatively little of the money got through. And it was only then it got through after years.
I think the artists themselves are more sus. I mean, than they were in the 60s or the 50s, because the history of rock and roll is more extant. You know, we know the loopholes and we know the problems now, and therefore we can deal with money a lot better than we used to.
It's government-to-government aid, direct government-to-government aid, that sometimes doesn't get through. Money given to charities and money raised by Band Aid does get through because we see it all the way to the delivery point, if you like. We see it all the way to the hungry people.
Almost everyone who was involved in it is concerned and will keep asking questions about where the money's gone and where it's going to, because we feel responsible for it.
But what I did was logical to me. We had to set up a trust which would protect people's money, which would be the Band Aid Trust. So that had to be so completely above board that the only way you could make it safe was to have a couple of titled people, a couple of sirs, Midge and myself representing the bands, a very well-known music business lawyer, John Kennedy, a very reputable firm of accountants who donated a accountant, Philip Rusted, completely free. They're taking up all the church and the collecting worldwide.
In the beginning, there was a slight resentment, I think, at these denim-clad cavalry coming over the hill to Ethiopia, when aid agency workers had been plugging away there for many years and sounding warnings to which no one listened about the imminence of the famine there. Another problem was the apparent unwillingness, certainly in the beginning of Band Aid, to leave the delivery end of emergency relief to the development agencies who were professionals in the field, almost as if Band Aid didn't trust the charities.
Once it had gone beyond the £70,000 stage, I was loath to give it to another aid agency who would take administrative charges, because they have to. That isn't a criticism. They work constantly in all these great disasters. They are global organisations.
Another problem, if you like, has been the kind of glorification of amateurism, which I think is a bit dangerous in the long term. You know, the kind of feeling that everyone at Band Aid, including the financiers who help run the business, are doing it for nothing, which implicitly, if you like, is a criticism of charities who have necessarily an administration to keep going. Band Aid can only all work for nothing in the short term. Eventually, they'll have to start paying for things like ordinary charities do.
If we set up permanently, we have to pay administrative costs, we have to pay staff. I won't do that, because that means we're taking money that people have given us. We're small, and we're quite radical in the effect that we can have. We are a conduit for people's money being translated directly into aid, which is then distributed by the other agencies.
Do they intend to have a 1986 Band Aid, a 1993 Band Aid? Because we'll have a war on want in 1993 and in 2023, and we had one in 1953. Do they see themselves as being a long-term addition to the anti-poverty fight, which is being waged by people like War on Want and Oxfam and Christian Aid and others? It would be a retrograde step if we went back to the days when charities in Britain were run by amateurs. They used to be old retired colonels, spinsters of private means, used to run British charities, and they didn't do it nearly as well as British charities are run now.
This is it. It's the warehouse. The GLC gave it to us, and which was really nice of them. It's perfect. What we're doing next week is we're launching this Schools Appeal. We're issuing 6 bags to every school who applies to be part of the scheme, and there's 30,000 schools. And the project for the school is that they fill half the bags with lentils and half the bags with flour. British Rail will bring it to the warehouse and we'll ship it to Tilbury and then out on the Band-Aid boats to Africa. So each school gets, I think, 50 kilos of food per school. So you're talking about £2-3 million worth of aid from just school kids.
See, what I like about the whole Band-Aid thing is that it's not regression to the 60s. You know, it's not going backwards, it's going forwards. It's not flowers in the hair. It's not, look, if we all think together, we're going to make this go away. It's nothing like that. And there's follow-through. It wasn't just one day and that was forgotten about. And again, credit to Bob Geldof, he has followed through. And this Live Aid concert is, again, a continuation.
It seemed to me that the logical conclusion to the whole exercise would be to have the concert on such a scale that it would link most bands around the world so that as many people could join in and enjoy it and give money. This is stage 1, 2 and 3. The reason it has to be like this is that it's unlike other pop shows. It's not when you go on, it's when you come off. Every band gets 20 minutes. We have to do that to fit in the appeal for money twice on the hour.
As of this morning, we've worked out exactly how to do this show. We have a running order for England, we have a running order for America, we have a dovetailed running order so that we can flip from America to England and vice versa.
They're going to be having fun out there.
What did Daltrey say to you last night?
Well, he says, I'm going to be out there in front of 1 billion people having the time of my life, and you're looking at a watch telling me to come off. I've never had that, you know, and this is what they're all going to have to face.
If a band's in the middle of a song, there's a sort of little button here at the side. To press. I am getting this special hook constructed, you know.
This is the American show. We open up with Bryan Adams. The next thing they see is U2 on the Vision from London. Then we go to the Beach Boys, switch to Dire Straits on the Vision. Tears for Fears, switch to Queen on Vision.
I talked to them from the very beginning about this, and the precondition for any of the wealthier Western countries is that they run a telethon.
Just tell him to get on to all the record companies right now, today. We don't need for him to have a board meeting, discussions or whatever. Get off his arse and deal with it.
You know, I mean, what's the point initially giving us a pathetic amount of money for the show, and that's it, and then they get a whole day's programming for free. And then they could say, great, we took part in the biggest TV broadcast ever, now f*** off.
Nothing?
And then there's this new prime minister in France, this young whiz-kid geezer. So it's the sort of thing that he gets into, plus Mitterrand with all his high-tech furniture in the Louvre or wherever he lives.
Then Adam Ant, then Spandau Ballet, Elvis Costello, Nick Kershaw, Sade, Sting.
He's the mouth. Bob the mouth.
Well, I mean, we tell them they have to blow it out, and then if they say, OK, we blow it out, then we'll come up with plan B. Iceland don't want to do a telethon. What's in Switzerland, the most technologically advanced country probably in Europe, they're going to try and sort one out? They export electricity.
We're out of power in this stadium. We're drawing every amp that we've got here. We're fresh out of power. This is what Wembley Stadium have come this morning. They've said our plans to light the audience and so on. There's not an amp left in the place.
But can we just get more generators in?
Well, I've already got 3 out there. I'm already at 3 generators.
Get more, Andy, get more. Rod Stewart wants to do it, but we can't fit him in.
We're getting too big and spectacular. The resources are drying up.
Queen, David Bowie, The Who, Elton John, Wham using Elton John's band, Paul McCartney in the finale. There are 600 million television sets in the world. At this moment, we have contracted 450 million television sets. By Tuesday of next week, we will have 550 million of the 600 million television sets contracted, which gives us a viewing audience of around 1.5 billion people. That's the positive side.
Yeah.
I got onto them all personally. And I said, but you get the manager ringing up and saying, when you ask my artist to get up there with just a guitar and a piano, you're with his art, Bob. I will not let you with my artist's art. You know, and you go, thank you, next, you know. That sort of thing goes on. I put the argument that with their help, they can literally stop people dying. You put that argument to them, they stop, and suddenly they realise, because they're in a pop band and people like them, their influence becomes very tangible. And on that day, it's the influence between lives and deaths.
The great thing about Band Aid is it blackmails people. I really like that aspect to it. People get really embarrassed when they say no. People, performers, you know, when Geldof rings up and says, would you like to be a part of this concert? I mean, there's some people, they just can't say no.
It is moral blackmail, but it's also a very logical point of view. And some people say, oh, well, look, I've done my thing, you know, and that's it, you know, like, I feel I've contributed. And I suppose it's not contribution. You know, it's not a question of it suddenly ending, you doing your bit. It demands more than a bit.
I don't think anyone really give a damn about it, you know. I mean, not saying everyone, because obviously Bob does, but most of them don't. I think most of them are more interested in their image and how people will see them, you know.
Some might. I don't care. I don't care their reasons. Like, I'll do a straight business trade-off.
I mean, perhaps you could probably rope me in with. Perhaps I'm the same, but I don't think I am.
But I don't know why they come forward. Maybe it's latent guilt that they're doing so well, you know, and that they want to give some of it back. Maybe they just want to help.
We're rewarded for what we do. We become very rich, very young, and that doesn't immunize you from the world. If anything, it makes it more piquant, you know, because you get all this privilege and wealth, and then you see the rest of the world. And we do see the rest of the world. And in a way, your conscience is pricked doubly because of that.
Well, there's obviously a contradiction, but I mean, you're always going to get that, you know, within pop music, because it's like what I do is a contradiction as well. I mean, for the amount of money that I've earned in my time, you know, that's kind of contradiction with my politics, but it's one of those contradictions you have to live with, really.
A musician or a performer, there's two sides. There's a private side and a public side. I have a private side which must react to what is happening in the third world. I must justify to myself the level of income I get and how to use that income. But there's a public side then, where you must be able to in some way be a part of a popular decision to do something. So that's what Band Aid is.
Well, I don't share the cynicism. I say to those who raise these kind of smears, well, what are you doing? The facts of the matter are, Bob Geldof and the other stars that have been involved with Band Aid have put their money and their time and their energy where their mouth is. It's easy for rich people to write checks, and lots of rich people do, but it's much harder for them to give a year or a year and a half of their lives, almost totally dedicated to a project such as Band Aid. And that's what Geldof's done, and some others have done, and I think that the human race has every reason to be very grateful to them for all time.
Hi. Thanks, mate.
Only there for 7 days. It seemed like 7 years. Well, if you have to be professional and approach it like you approach any other job, and be quiet. The camera separates you anyway, as he knows. I mean, the camera is a kind of barrier. I don't actually see the pictures till I get back and start printing them.
When you first encounter, it's just overwhelming.
I tried not to show just all the bad things. I mean, to take some pictures of people with a bit of hope as well.
Yes, the difficulty with that...
Journalists always do they always go for the really bad cases.
Right.
I think it's important to get a few people that are not that. I mean, the few hopeful people.
Right. The problem is that a single picture becomes a piece of propaganda. So if you show the downside of things, people feel sympathy. If you show someone getting better, the correlation to them is, oh, things are getting better, the bit I've done has helped, I don't need to do any more. And so, like, I mean, I'm always saying, you know, don't show that because it's getting worse. People must understand that, you know, that it gets worse, it gets worse, it gets worse. Even though there are people who are kept alive and who have some sort of future, for every one, there's 100 go down. That's the only problem.
Mind you, I didn't see any other photographers there. I mean, everyone said there was thousands of photographers. But
There's sort of
I didn't meet
famine
one
groupies,
photographer.
you know, in the Addis Hilton, which is a really weird situation. I mean, here's this beautiful hotel. It's one of the best Hiltons.
Oh, we didn't get in there.
No. And where were you?
Well, I don't know. Some funny little...
And like around the pool are all these people covering this famine, you know, and it's the weirdest situation, yeah. There'll come a point when everyone gets tired of famine pictures. Peter Blake is doing, you know, the cover of the programme, and this would have been perfect, because what it is all these satellites and all this wonderful technology, and then this kid just looking at it. Richard! Richard!
Good to see you.
Hi, how are you?
Paula.
At a reduced rate.
But intervention stocks are used.
For what?
Those are the stocks.
I mean, at the moment you've got a problem with the butter mountain. You don't know how to dispose of it. To sell to the Russians is the cheapest way.
I'm sorry, but butter doesn't do very much good in Africa.
Well, butter oil actually does. It is one of the major
Butter oil,
supplementary
if you
foods.
can get it.
But it is a byproduct of butter.
Yes. Well, look, a lot is going. A lot of surplus food is going. But don't
Prime
forget,
Minister, there are
there's a-
millions dying, and that's the terrible thing. She said we can't give butter to them, which is kind of the reverse of let them eat cake, you know, is almost a classic. And I said, but we can't give them butter oil because that's Band-Aid spends millions, and butter oil is a derivative of butter. So why not get rid of the butter mountain by giving them butter oil? Why sell it to the Soviets for less than what it costs to produce? And she said, it isn't as simple as that. And I said, no, nothing's as simple as death. And the other point that I wished to make was why, if it's easy, relatively, to sit around a table in Switzerland with Schulz and Gromyko, or Reagan and Gorbachev, and Mitterrand and Kohl, why, if it's easy to discuss the theoretical death of millions through nuclear destruction, why is it not so much easier to talk about the actual death of millions, more millions than will be killed in a primary or secondary nuclear strike? Why, 2 weeks ago, did the EC spend £265 million on destroying 2 million tonnes of vegetable and fruit? What is the logic of that? It becomes, and the word is a cliche now, but it becomes an obscenity to spend so much, to destroy so much, when so many die for having so little. It staggers me. It staggers me that this is greed so manifest, that it's incompetence so tangible, that it flies in the face of every logic, emotional, rational, economic, human. It flies in the face of all that logic, that we wade through lakes of wine, that we slip on alpine peaks of butter, that we can't even begin to scale the Himalayas of wheat that we store, and that costs us millions per year, £1.5 billion to store in Europe. And as the UN said, it is the greatest natural disaster that humankind has experienced since we came on this planet. Now, ever. We're talking about ever. You're talking about a continent dying. Literally, a continent is going down in front of us. Pop music cannot do any more than the Live Aid thing. I can't see it. How is it possible? Except that the greatest, 70% of the greatest artists of the last 20 years play live the songs that they made famous, and that, as you said earlier, articulated and represented for 3 generations of people. That is the ultimate they can give, and do it on global terms. I mean, without doubt, July the 13th will be pop music's greatest day. And there's nothing more they can do, so therefore, why do they need me? I'm off, you know. Thank God.
Oj, förlåt. Det kanske inte var så bra att sända den här filmen just nu. Jag menar, när ni ska ut och köpa julklappar och sådär snart så kanske ni har tappat lusten efter att ha sett den här filmen. Och det var ju absolut inte meningen. Men det är ingen fara. Köp på bara. Det är ingen fara. De där barnen vet nog ändå inte vad julafton är.